government. Folks, if I know you're in your car right now, you may be rushing, you're like, Jim, thanks. You gave me the news. We got the traffic. We got the weather. We're very happy, Jim. Gave us everything we need. But you know what right now, Jim? Don't get heavy on me. Come on, man. I'm trying to get to work. Well, no, look. If there's no other time that you get involved, this is the time you have to get involved. The mayor of the city of Worcester, who I know, I joke about, I call him Barack O'Brien. The mayor of the city of Worcester, folks, is completely out of control. Completely. He is the most dangerous man in the city right now. Here's why. Last night, regular listeners to the show know that I let you know about a meeting last night that was going to be held at the YWCA. It was everybody who has their hand out, basically, at this meeting. A meeting that was chaired by the mayor, State Representative Jim O'Day from West Boylston, and Grace Ross. In the audience at the meeting were members of public employee unions and leadership, Neighbor to Neighbor. Oh, they're a good group. Neighbor Screwing Neighbor, more like it. Community organizers and activists, and basically the Marx crowd. And I don't mean the brothers. I mean Carl. That was the crowd. Jim O'Day has filed legislation to raise taxes. Basically, let's stick it to the rich. So let's play some class warfare here. Let's make it even more unattractive for people to live in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Okay? One of the people who was there last night spoke with us earlier, and another of my favorites was there always. Vigilant, Hardcore Tina. Good morning, dear.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you?
Oh.
Yeah, I know. Have you been able to wash the stench of patchouli oil and hemp and vegan sandwiches out of your clothing and your hair?
I'm not even going to go there.
Okay.
I don't want to even talk about that.
Right.
I'm ready to have a stroke.
I know.
I'm so angry. It's ridiculous. First of all, I need to get this in. When I spoke to Representative O'Day at the end of the meeting, because they shut the meeting down because they don't want anybody else talking.
Right.
He told me to leave the state. He told me to leave. Yes, he did. He told me to leave. He told me to move elsewhere. If I don't like it, too bad, move. Okay? So I just wanted that to be put out there.
Yeah, he's got you know what? He thinks he's got a big set of onions. I'd like to see that pussy come on this show with that big set of onions and explain to me why these taxes should go up and how this is not redistribution of wealth and how this is not class warfare.
They did say it was they essentially said it. They said it was not fair that these people were keeping all of this money and that they needed the money. Those were their words. They said They just kept saying it was not fair. It's not fair. And there was some woman behind me, completely obnoxious, that kept saying, that's right, that's right. We need that money. We need that money. We need to take that money back. I'm like, are you out of your freaking mind?
Yeah, you need to take it back. So let me just make sure I understand this. Someone goes out and works hard, and when they work hard, they amass wealth, and for some reason, it's unfair that they were able to do that, so they need to share that money with me.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I remember, I took some poli-sci in college, but I also had some in high school at St. John's. That sounds like to me, the premise of socialism and communism.
Oh, yes.
Okay. Now, in any point during the discussion last night, while they were rallying support for a bill to raise the Massachusetts income tax. At any point, did anyone discuss trying to make government more efficient and trying to control costs?
No, they did not. And when I brought up the issue, the fact that rich people will leave this state in droves.
Yeah, they will.
Shut me down, and O'Day and O'Brien and Grace Ross all started shouting over me, telling me, "Oh no, we just got the census data. All these people came," and I was trying to say that, excuse me, we're redistricting because we lost people.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All the and the lawmakers in New Jersey said that their rich people would never leave either, but they left that state in droves, and they went to Texas, Florida. Okay, they went to the states where they didn't have to pay all these ridiculous taxes.
Well, look. Let's just look at this as an example, Tina. Ted Kennedy's mother, Rose Kennedy. What was she, like 103 when she died or something? Okay, yes. Rose Kennedy, when she died, she hadn't been out of that house in Hyannisport for over a decade. And yet somehow
what state was she a resident of?
She was a resident of Florida.
That's right.
To save on taxes.
That's right. Because
so the Kennedys,
is so wonderful.
Right, the Kennedys, who these guys revere, these moonbats revere, they took their money out of state. They didn't take their bodies out of state, but they took their money out of state. Oh, and by the way, what are the Kennedys doing right now? They want us to pay for the shrine to Teddy with our tax dollars.
Oh, and you know what? I want to bring up one other thing. There was some man there who stated that he used to be a teacher and that they used to go to corporations for grant money and that there's obviously lots of money there. And he asked Rep. O'Day why they were not going after the corporations because obviously the money is there. And we should also be hiring the tax on all the corporations.
Yeah, that's right.
I'm like, Evergreen Solar just left.
Yep.
I couldn't help myself.
Yep.
As well as Fidelity.
Fidelity left.
And,
let's.
Right, and O'Day said something about. He said something stupid.
I'm really not surprised at that, Tina. That Jim O'Day said something.
Money. I don't know. It was like made no sense.
Listen, the guy has never. I want you to think of everybody who was in that room, and tell me how many of them ever drew a paycheck from a private entity.
Well, I also had, of course, the unmitigated gall to say that I never got a job from a poor person. They didn't appreciate that.
Yeah, I never got a job from a poor person.
Poor person's never employed.
Oh, wait, excuse me. I did get a job once from a poor person. They were the Sisters of St. Anne, who take a vow of poverty at Anna Maria College. They hired me. That was it. That was a nonprofit. That was a college. So, in full disclosure here, the sisters were poor, and they gave me a job. As far as anyone else who was poor, whoever created a job, whoever created a job that was poor, I'll tell you what some poor people do, though. They create their own job, they create their own wealth, and they climb the ladder. But I'm not talking about poor people. I'm talking about everybody in that room. Did they ever draw a check from a private enterprise for payroll? Or have they, all of their lives, worked for public entities? What do you think?
I'm sure they've always worked for nonprofits.
Yeah.
And the funny thing was, they had some guy from Roxbury had this screen program, and on the graph, one of the graphs, it showed that people that make between, I believe it was, I think the cutoff was somewhere between like 40,000 up to 100,000 would see their taxes raised only by about $100.
I saw that.
And you know what he had the audacity to say?
What?
The audacity to say that only, he said, they won't even notice this. It's only about 15 cents a day. And you know what? With the other taxes they're paying, they won't even notice it, and it's not going to be a big deal. I said, excuse me?
Yeah, wait a minute. Why don't you and all of your moonbat friends give me $99 a year? Every single one of you. Give me $99 a year. Send it to me. I'll make good use of it. See, this is what I mean. Tina?
Right, and the other thing I said, too, was, why are you not going after John Kerry, Pelosi, and Reid, and asking them for money for your programs? You can fund all your programs from those people without taking our tax dollars, and they shut me down.
They don't want to hear it. Look, these people are intellectually dishonest. Frankly, some of them I feel sorry for because they're misguided. They've never really seen the light, Tina. You know, they haven't been enlightened. They've been trapped in a world where they've been told to be a victim, where people who make money and work hard are bad because they screw the little guy to do it. Their minds have been filled with pseudo-Marxist BS. So some of them I feel bad for. Others have seen both sides, and they made a choice. I'm sure Joe Barack O'Brien has read about the Founding Fathers and the like, but maybe he read the Noam Chomsky version of what the Founding Fathers were. But he's been exposed to some of the things that made this country great. But yet he chose the path that is redistribution of wealth, that is punish the person who works hard, punish the person who amasses wealth, punish the person who takes a risk with their money to build a business. That's the world he lives in. This is the guy who wants to save junkies. It's more important to save a junkie in the city of Worcester than it is to save grandma. It's more important that we save those junkies.
Well,
that's the kind of guy we're talking about.
Another thing that they said was that, people that make over $500,000, that's too much money. and
Really?
They should have to give that back. Because that's too much. No one, they actually said no one should have that much money. But I will tell you one thing.
Really? So why don't they, hey, why don't they talk to their heroes like Howard Dean and people like that? They make that kind of money. Why don't they go talk to them?
Al Gore.
Al Gore! Yes! No, they don't want to hear that. See, that's why they're intellectually dishonest.
Exactly. And, I will say one thing. I don't know, when I was leaving, someone with a neighbor to neighbor T-shirt.
No, it's neighbor. No, Tina. It's neighbor screwing neighbor.
Yes, neighbor screwing neighbor actually stopped me. And she said, what you said made sense.
Wow.
Yes. I don't know if she was putting me on or if she really was thinking about it.
Tina?
So I was like, you know what? That's good.
Atta girl. You know what? That's what I meant. There are some people who get caught up in this cult, wear the Che Guevara T-shirt BS, and I feel sorry for them because they've never been exposed to what made this country great and to what makes it the greatest nation ever in civilization, the greatest society ever. That was no accident. Okay? Karl Marx didn't create anything.
No, he didn't.
Except a mess. Socialism, communism, guys, 100 million people are dead thanks to it, and it hasn't worked and it's failed. Why do you keep trying to do it? I don't know.
That is correct.
But you've literally got a socialist/communist mayor. I want to raise taxes. Let me tell you something, buddy. I don't go into my boss and ask for a raise unless I've generated more revenue here. Okay? That's how I get my raise. You don't get your raise because you feel like you're entitled to it.
Exactly. And you know what? I have to tell you, I was so disappointed to see so many black people there that believe that these three kooks are helping them out because, to me, it's a form of economic slavery.
Well, look.
I really honestly believe that this is a form of economic slavery, and I wanted to get up there and, you know what, tell them it's time to get off the plantation.
Yeah.
You know,
but no, you know what they'd call
racism.
You know what they'd call you if you said that.
Oh, yes, Uncle Tom, or would that be Aunt Tom?
well, yeah, right, Auntie Tom. All right, Auntie Tom. Oh, my God. That softens it. You know what, Tina, actually, that makes it sound a little better. Makes it sound cute. I mean, they would, though. But I feel bad because there are people in that room who feel that is the path to success. And that is the path to slavery and to financial ruin.
Yeah, they have absolutely no idea. They've been spoon-fed this crap their whole life.
Yep.
And they don't know anything else.
I know.
They don't know anything else.
I know.
And and honestly, I think most people, especially young people in their late teens, early 20s, they have an idea that everything should be given to them and that they shouldn't have to work. But normally by the time you reach about 25, 30 years old, you're like, you know what? I have to do this myself. Nobody's going to give it to me.
Yep.
And you figure out as you're working that, hey, I did this. I could make it work. I could do it myself. Why should you be taking my money?
I got it. Tina, you did a good job. You may have converted one mind of much. Tina, I got to run. Okay, folks, brief stimulus break. Stick around. I'm Jim Polito on WTAG.